Chapter 74. No, my angel, I'm no bully. I just want to live fully. Come on, let's go flirt with death. I promise this won't be your last breath. To Jenny's relief, it was easier to have Diego as a passenger than Agneta or Keva. They would sit stiff as boards, but he moved along with her. She could drive as if there were one person, only having to take the additional weight into account when braking. Once she had overcome her nervousness, the journey became enjoyable. His motorcycle was standing at the side of the road. She stopped next to it. Diego got off and went to his Transalp. Jenny wondered if he was going to go home right away and if she should go home. She had already missed a few hours of planned homework, so his voice interrupted her thoughts. It's all about choosing the right track in the curves. Some people choose to drive as straight as possible, even through the curves. Others want to lean in as much as possible. I want to drive like you. He glanced at her, and the corner of his mouth twitched. I go for flow. He lowered his visor. Through his helmet, she understood rather than heard. Come on. His quick acceleration surprised Jenny, and she accidentally killed her engine as she tried to go after him. She cursed herself for her clumsiness, restarted the motorcycle, and tried to catch up. Keeping up with him was hard. She tried, but since it was a dirt road, she didn't feel safe enough to drive as fast as he did. She didn't want to skid and drive off the road again. So she accepted that she just couldn't drive at his pace and drove at a speed that felt comfortable for her. After a while, she caught up. Maybe because she gradually felt safer, or maybe he slowed down when he noticed she was lagging behind. Through the curves, she followed him by driving on the same invisible line that he chose. To her delight, she noticed she was driving with flow. Yay! She shouted in her helmet. Soon I'll be able to drive like he does. Just then he stopped. Jenny, who was not prepared, braked too hard and almost lost control of the motorcycle when the rear wheel skidded. God damn it, Jay! First, use the foot brake, then the handbrake, and adapt the pressure to the gravel. I know! Her reply sounded just as angry as his comment. She hated feeling stupid. He drove up next to her. It's not enough to know here, he tapped on her helmet. It needs to become second nature. He shook his head and then drove on. Even though she disliked being told off, she decided to continue following him. After a while, the wonderful, focused feeling came back. Get your motor running, head out on the highway. When they had been driving for a while, he turned onto a narrow road. She followed. The road became increasingly narrow and eventually came to dead end at a rusty boom barrier. He turned off the engine and she did the same. Come over here. She got off her motorcycle and walked up to him. About 10 years ago, there was a hell of a flood here. He pointed into the woods. The whole road collapsed. Instead of fixing it, they built a new road, the one we drove on before we turned off. Then they put up this barrier, but the hole in the road is still here and the road continues over there. Jump on, I'll now show you. Show me what? There's nothing to see but a collapsed road and a giant crater. Instead of asking, she did what he asked. Once she was sitting behind him, he passed the boom by going down into the ditch. It was still hard to see anything, but she saw a glimpse of what must have been the old road. It was on the other side of the precipice. They sat in silence for so long, Jenny was about to say something, but she noticed that Diego was different. It was as if he was not there, as if he had forgotten she was there with him. Suddenly he turned his face toward her and asked with a voice that sounded hoarse, Do you trust me, Jay? She frowned. What? Whatever you do, hold on to me. Don't let go. Don't lean in the wrong direction. Just hold on to me. Before she understood what he was going to do, he rode on, straight towards the crater. Jenny screamed. She had no idea what she was shouting, whether it was words or just wordless sounds. She screamed for her life. Her life was not fun to live right now, but she didn't want to die. I don't want to die, but I ain't keen on living either, as Robbie Williams sang. How could Diego just decide that she would die here and now with him? Suddenly the road beneath them disappeared and she cried. This was not how she wanted her life to end. Not like this, not now. After a few year-long seconds, the motorcycle landed on the other side of the chasm. He had to work hard to keep the motorcycle upright, but after a few seconds he mastered it, and he got it to stop without falling over. As soon as the motorcycle stood still, she got off. She tore off her helmet and hit him furiously with it. "You idiot! You fucking damn idiot! How could you do such a thing without asking me? How could you? You've no bloody right to risk my life! You damn idiot! You damn egoist! You damn pig! How could you? How could you? Who the hell do you think I am? Do you think I want to die out here in this goddamn forest with you?" While screaming at him, she punched him with her helmet, on his arms, his back, his chest, and his legs. Diego blocked the blows as best he could, and when they finally abated, he caught her arms and locked them next to her body. He held her tightly so she could not hit anymore, so that she couldn't even move. At the same time, he whispered in her ear until she finally fell silent. "Shh, Jay, shh, shh, shh." When he felt her calm down, he let go. She surprised him by hitting him again, this time in the head. Fortunately, he was still wearing his helmet. "I hate you! Fuck off! I never want to see you again!" She turned around, planning to go to the motorcycle. Then she realized she couldn't get to it. There was a precipice in the way. She sighed deeply and loudly. "Don't tell me you plan to go back the same way." Her voice was now not only angry but also resigned. He looked at her in silence, rubbing his upper arm. It hurt. "We can go the same way back." "Forget it. I'd rather walk another way, even if it takes hours." He shrugged. "Okay, I'll drive around and then we can get back to the road we were on before." She sighed, not liking the idea of sitting behind him again, being close to him, but she didn't have many options, so she slowly walked back to him. "Drive the long way back. Carefully. You may want to die tonight, Diego, but I don't." This time she kept her hands on her thighs, not wanting to hold on to him. After a while on the bumpy road, she had to grab his waist after all, to stop herself from falling off. When they returned to her bike, she got off without a word and started turning it around. It was hard to move it on a small road. Diego came to help her, but she snapped at him, telling him she didn't need his help. As far as she was concerned, he could go to hell. This time he drove behind her. When he took off towards his barracks, he honked and lifted his hand in a goodbye. She ignored him. On the way home, she continued cursing him. Now it was hard to understand that she had felt safe with him, as if he could protect her from the world. She hadn't known she had to protect herself from him. She hated him. She hated what he had done. She hated it. At the same time, she had to admit that after having been so close to death, she felt more alive than she had in an awfully long time.